gave me. So, but I mean, blessing,
I know
blessing always get my back. So, good morning, blessing.
Good morning, Sunday.
I'm not patronizing you, by the way.
I mean, how do I feel like I know where you're going? Anyway, good morning, Sunday. Good morning, Feromi. Good morning to the city of Ibadan. Great to be back here again on Sports Bank this morning. And of course, talking about claims, who has the greatest team? I mean, this is something that we're always going to have because it is coming from different perspectives, different measures, I should say. I mean, a fan thinks, okay, this is why I think my club is the greatest. Another one comes in and say, okay, you know what? Those parameters do not work for me.
But facts are sacrosanct. So maybe we need to start looking at that.
Well, yes, in a way. And maybe someone will also say that greatest club is relative.
It has to be by.
Are we ever going to have a centralized?
Maybe not in the whole world, but I mean, if you break it down,
region by region,
EPL,
state, country by
Spanish
league
La
by
Liga.
league.
For instance, in the Spanish La Liga, we know the greatest club side.
The great club sides.
Club side.
Side.
Yes.
Okay, Barcelona or Real Madrid.
Facts do not support Barcelona.
The discussions will go
Real Madrid.
on because of the Champions League.
Not just the Champions League.
You see, the discussions will go on and on and on and on. Which parameters are we using? Is it centralized?
Okay, if I say Arsenal are the greatest side in the EPL.
That is your opinion. Does the facts agree with you? It's a big question.
Nobody will say that. Nobody. Okay. Follow me. Good morning.
I
think Blessing has actually confounded me.
Well, good morning to you today. Good morning to Blessing, to a wonderful listener out there. I mean, why would anybody say Arsenal are the greatest? That's.
Once upon a time.
Remember the Invincible. Nobody has done that in the EPL.
Golden EPL trophy.
What are they now?
Who don't win now?
From the Invincible to the what now? You
call them the Invincible.
You asked yesterday, and then I said no.
I can't find.
But the truth is, the facts are there. I think let's be realistic. Manchester United in the last 20 years, I would say, have been maybe one of the best side right there.
Did you say Man United or Man City? Remember,
I said Manchester United.
We started from the Man City claim.
But
remember the number of times they've won the EPL. I'm talking about Man City in the last 10 years alone.
You said 20. If you're saying in the last 10 years, if you're cutting it down there, then
even
probably
let's say 20
if you're saying 20, then Manchester United has to come to mix. Come on. I mean, it's
City in the process achieved over 100 points, winning the league title.
Yes. Definitely. No doubt about that.
Counts for something, right?
Of course. I think
they also won 4 trophies, domestic trophies.
Yeah,
definitely.
So they have
a claim as well. Definitely, they have. It's going to be a very huge.
Maybe Ferrum is looking at it in the angle of a pedigree, and
because I extended to 20 years.
Exactly.
The champions once are right there, and I think only Man City have actually not won the Champions League. So and Arsenal. I mean, we are not talking about Arsenal here. Don't drag Arsenal into this. They are not amongst. Come on.
We didn't plan to start with this, right?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so let's just get going. And tennis certainly will get in first. The US Open will offer $57.5 million in total player compensation in 2021, with the qualifying tournament offering nearly $6 million in prize money alone. The Grand Slam, which offers equal prize money for both women and men, has reduced the two singles champions' prize money from $3 million to $2.5 million, with the runner-up now taking away $1.25 million. It is the lowest amount for the top prize at Flushing Meadows since 2012, when the singles champion each received $1.9 million. The qualifying tournament will now offer nearly $6 million in prize money, a 66% increase from 2019, when qualifying was last held due to the coronavirus pandemic. In 2020, qualifying was called off amid the pandemic. However, it goes higher this year, although no spectators will be permitted to enter the grounds, unlike for the main tournament, which will be at 100% capacity. Additionally, the first round main draw prize money has increased by 23% to $75,000. Meanwhile, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN President Tonobok Okowa says the future is bright, very bright for track and field in Nigeria, following the unprecedented feats achieved by the country's young athletes at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships, which ended Sunday in Nairobi, Kenya. Nigeria won 4 gold and 3 bronze medals to finish third on the medals table, and Okowa has congratulated the team. The AFM president believes that the unprecedented feat signifies that track and field in Nigeria is on the rise again after some 13 years of more misses than hits. Now, let's take our attention straight to the Paralympics. The Paralympic Games is here as the opening ceremonies begin today. 22 athletes will be representing Team Nigeria in the Tokyo 2020 Games this year. Recall Rio 2016 in Brazil was the most successful outing yet for Team Nigeria, which became Africa's best team and 17th overall on the medal table with 8 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze medals. So somebody's keeping this record, and we're watching what will happen this year. In Tokyo, Team Nigeria Paralympics will participate in 4 events: powerlifting, para-athletics, para-table tennis, and para-rowing. The first Paralympics debut for Team Nigeria was far back Barcelona 92 with 6 athletes who came back with 3 gold medals. Nigeria's largest contingent to the game was in Sydney 2000 with 31 Paralympic athletes when Team Nigeria returned home with 13 medals. The team captain Lucy Ejike, who would be featuring in her 6th Paralympics after making her debut at Sydney 2000, has promised that the contingent would surpass the record at Rio 2016. She's 44. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ejike won a medal in each of the games she has been in, winning gold medals in 2004, 2008, and 2016, and silver medals in 2000 and 2012. Chairman Caretaker Committee of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, has called for sustained funding and sponsorship of the sport following the country's historic performance at the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics in Japan. In Tokyo, Commonwealth champion Blessing Oborodudu won Nigeria's first ever medal in wrestling, claiming silver in the 68 kg final, with the likes of 3-time World Championship medalist Odun Adekure and 2-time Commonwealth champion Aminat Adeni unsuccessful in the attempt to win medals in Tokyo. The NWF boss said he has a long-term succession plan for the top athletes. However, the world and Olympic champion Igali stated that the succession plan won't materialize without the support and sponsorship from the private and corporate sectors.
My goal is to ensure that I have a sustained succession plan for most of these athletes, which means in terms of funding too, we need to have better communications with even the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports, because of course, you know, sports like basketball have funding directly from the Federal House of Representatives from the budget, and I think wrestling deserves that status as well. So we need to do a bit more in terms of sustained funding, not only from the federal government, but we need to look at, especially with the small or little success we had at these Olympics, for us to have private individuals and our corporations that will give us that assurance of sponsorship for the next 8 years. So I think those are the foundations I want to lay, and once you've done that, you rest assured that anyone coming after you will be starting on a pretty level playing field. They wouldn't have to be climbing a very big mountain to maintain the success we've had.
Daniel Igali, President, Nigerian Wrestling Federation. He further assured potential sponsors of the NWF's transparency while highlighting the importance of their support to wrestling.
Well, I want to assure every either individual or corporation that is prepared to support the Nigerian Wrestling Federation that they have very trustworthy leadership that's very responsive, and that has over time judiciously used funds that have been appropriated for any purpose. We feel that to keep up even at the Commonwealth level, we need funding from private investors. Look at India, for instance, now. India and Nigeria were almost at par just 4 or 5 years ago. In fact, at the Commonwealth Games, our female team beat both Canada and India. But as we are talking now, India is almost edging Nigeria because they have funding to the tune of $3 million a year. They just went to the Cadet World Championships and became overall team champions. That tells you that in another 4 or 5 years, these 17-year-old kids will be 20, 21, and they will be world beaters. What the Nigerian Wrestling Federation doesn't have now is to be able to even expose our young talent to international competitions because we don't have the funds. And we can only do that when we have private investors partner with us on a long-term basis.
Okay, I think it's important for us to talk about this. Is it possible for us to tie funding to success?
Is it possible?
That your last outing will determine how much funding you get going forward?
But it shouldn't. Whatever you do, go out there to perform shouldn't determine that this is the amount of funding you will get, because you know that if you want to get the best out of any competition, out of whatever it is you are doing, I mean, there must be a level of funding that will go towards preparation, that will go towards training, that will go towards planning.
No, aside from the statutory funding, maybe extra funding.
Yeah.
For those who, for instance, the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, I mean, we did well. We won, silver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the first time at the Olympics.
The peak of our achievements.
Yes. At the Olympics.
At the last Olympics. Should that attract more funding? Not just from, because Igali seemed to be focusing on the private sector.
Yes.
What about the government as well?
Yeah, as well. I think it also should show the government that this is a budding sport. This sport has been able to achieve this even without so much of your input in terms of funding. How much more if you're able to commit more funds into it. And I love how Igali is thinking here. He's thinking, okay, having a successor. I mean, in the words of Bishop T.D. Jakes, if you have achieved any level of success, then pour it into someone else. Success is not success without a successor. And you know that for you to also get a good successor, you must be able to get some level of funding. And I like where he's also coming from in the aspect that you need to start raising some other young legs who will come over and take over from a Blessing Obrodudu. Blessing Obrodudu mentioned that this was her last Olympic. She's 32 years old. She's not going to attend the next Olympic. So who else do you have on ground ready to take over from her? And that's where it's coming from, to say, some of these athletes, we do not have the funds to even send them to competitions where they get to gain experience. If you can do that with more money to fund them, to send them, then you are building for the future. I think that's where it's coming from. And the government should not even really be told at this point that this is a sport where you should help.
And bless you, and that is why I think I will come in now, because I feel, in a Senate line, they should actually have, a report, a reflect of what has actually happened in the Olympics. Have a roundtable discussion. I mean, how have we failed in this part? What can we do to actually have a better outing next time? What can we do, to help the sports in this country, in Nigeria? I think those are the things that should be coming from the sports ministry at this point in time.
Even if it's providing facilities.
I mean,
don't worry. I keep saying,
you keep what?
A policy document is going to come.
How long have we been working on the policy document?
Policy has actually been coming.
Don't be in a rush, okay? It will come
how long?
Very soon.
We're working on policy document fast.
Okay, let's check out basketball as the 2021 AfroBasket tips up in Kigali, Rwanda today. Head coach of Nigeria's senior men's national team, Mike Brown, has assured that his players will be ready on time for the competition. With their first game against Mali on this Wednesday, Brown admitted that the timing of the competition just immediately after the Summer Olympics has proved to be challenging for players and the coaching staff. He also revealed that many of the players who participated during the AfroBasket qualifiers as well as the Olympics camp wanted to play, but holding training camps with their various clubs made it extremely difficult. But Brown reckoned that if FIBA America and FIBA Europe thought it best to hold their competition next year, Africa should have adopted the same strategy so as to have the full complement of the stars around the world. Now, let's talk about this one. It's called the Aisha Buhari Cup. Head coach of Morocco's women national team, Renaud Pedros, is targeting his first successful campaign on the continent ahead of the Aisha Buhari Cup in Nigeria, which is coming up next month. The Atlas Lionesses will compete in the maiden edition of the Six Nation Championship organized in honor of Nigeria's First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, and the 49-year-old French tactician was engaged in November 2020, shared his great delight in his side's invitation. Let's move straight to Europe because of our time. Michael Antonio stands alone at the top of the list of West Ham's Premier League scorers, so it was fitting he danced with himself under the London Stadium lights on Monday. After scoring his 48th top-flight goal for the Hammers in a 4-1 win over Leicester, we didn't see that coming. The striker celebrated surpassing Paulo Di Canio's record by Watson with lifting and kissing a Michael Antonio's cardboard cutout. It was a Hollywood moment for a player who took the number 9 shirt this summer and will now go down in Western folklore for his scoring exploits. And in Spain, Sevilla defeated Getafe 1-0. It was an away victory for Sevilla, and it was goalless between Osasuna and Celta Vigo. In the Italian Serie A, it ended 2-2 between Cagliari and Spezia, and of course, AC Milan were 1-0 winners away from home against Sampdoria. Authorities in France have ordered a 4-match stand closure and arrested a man after ugly scenes caused Nice's League One game with Marseille to be abandoned. The Elb's Maritime Department said the popular south stand of Mrs. Allianz Rivera Stadium will be closed after the brawl between fans and players. I mean, nobody thought that you could have something like that in 2021 in Europe,
especially in Europe.
Top five leagues in Europe.
It is not the MPFL. It is coming in France.
I mean, that's just to say that it can actually happen anywhere.
And somebody will tell me I don't want to watch the MPFL because of that. See France that you're watching.
But then the difference is that they know how to control this thing.
Control what? What did they do?
No, that's
They did not control anything yesterday.
You said?
They lost control in that one.
But
even with hundreds of
even find the common grounds, people have been arrested. People will be punished. They would actually be going behind closed doors or something like that. I think that's something. That should count for something. That wouldn't happen in MPFL.
You think it wouldn't have arrested anyone?
What have they arrested?
We've had cases of people being arrested.
Okay, the BBC Premier League update is up next on Sports Bang. Enjoy and be back in a moment.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. West Ham United beat Leicester City 4-1 in the day's Premier League match, with Algerian international winger Saïd Benrahma scoring one and making another as his excellent start to the season continued. Former Chelsea and Blackburn striker Chris Sutton co-commentated on the match for the BBC.
Brilliant performance from West Ham. Leicester City, well and truly hammered, didn't offer a lot. The sending off, you could say, changed the game. Brendan Rodgers may feel that way, but thought West Ham 11v11 were the better team in second half. Absolutely phenomenal. Antonio, unplayable. Strong display and another 3 points. Great start to the season.
The Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers praised the performance of West Ham striker Michail Antonio.
We get back to 2-1 and then we're ready to make the substitutions as well to go for the last 15-20 minutes, but then they score. And Mikel scores two fantastic goals. He's wrong-footed, Cags in the box, finishes really well, and his last one's a great piece of skill and a wonderful finish.
Meanwhile, Premier League clubs are set to prevent players from going to red list countries for September's international break. Current government regulations mean that many players would be forced to quarantine for 10 days upon their return to the UK. Liverpool are among those refusing to allow players to leave, with Mohamed Salah, Roberto Firmino, Fabinho and Alisson all called up to play in countries currently on the red list. The Premier League and the Football Association are in discussions with the Government Department for Digital, Media, Culture and Sport over a possible relaxation of rules. And Norwich City have signed the Manchester United defender Brandon Williams on loan until the end of the season. 20-year-old Williams becomes Daniel Farke's ninth signing of the transfer window since returning to the Premier League. The fullback leaves Old Trafford in search of first-team football, having played just 4 league games in the last year. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, great too. I'll be back on Sports Bank. There you listen to the BBC Premier League updates. What the home stretch. I think Ayobami Anima Shawa has been speaking.
Yes, he's been talking and saying a lot.
He's been typing.
And we started with the claims about the biggest clubs in history, and AY said Arsenal holds the only golden EPL trophy. That's a valid yardstick.
What
according
does
to
golden EPL trophy? I mean, what does it mean?
It is good.
Is that supposed to be the only achievement in the last 20 years?
There's nothing like golden EPL trophy.
There's nothing like.
It is one EPL title.
But it is golden. The trophy is golden.
What's golden?
And they did not collect the trophy back, did they?
Are you kidding me? You see, you've gotten Bolu to talk. Can you imagine? That's how ridiculous it sounds.
If Bolu had to come in and talk.
Before we leave this morning, one more transfer that you're looking forward to before the close of the summer transfer window.
We're talking about Harry Kane. It's just like that may not happen right now because it seems to be dying out. But of course, the growing reports about Cristiano Ronaldo asking to leave Juventus. I think that's something I want to watch out for.
But Allegri has actually come out to deny that.
Of course, they will deny. Do you expect them to say there's not? Of course not.
Where will he go at this point? I hope he's not planning to go to PSG.
Who says he can't come back to the Premier League?
Premier League, yeah. I was thinking of Premier League.
Buy him in Premier League.
United. They're wasteful spender, so they cannot. Let's break him up.
AY is still typing. You probably sort yourself out when you come back at 6:30 later today. Thank you so much, Fermi Adigbe.
It's a pleasure.
Fermi just called Manchester United
Wasteful
spenders.
Please hold him to that.
So what do you say about Arsenal?
What do you say about City?
Let's go.
Bless you for where.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Thanks to Bolu. Thanks to my sister being around today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 7:30. The second half of Sports Bank for today will be right here at 6:30 later this evening. My name is Tunde Olawu. Bye-bye.
Splash FM 105.5.
Hi there. What does popping a Tom Tom candy means to you? Does it just release your nasal congestion and cough? Or does it just eliminate bad breath, giving the mouth a feeling of freshness after just one candy? I tell you, Tom Tom is all about this and more. Pop a Tom Tom candy and then take a breath. Clear your mind. Regain your focus. Find your inspiration. Center your strength. Calm your storm, your nerves, and go for your passion.